Okay, here's a question for you. If you could travel back in time, what would you do? Would you, I don't know, try and stop a tragedy? Or maybe just meet your younger self, give them some stock tips? What's really fascinating, though, is that some scientists, actual physicists, are exploring whether time travel in some form might already be possible.
Yeah, it sounds like pure science fiction, doesn't it?
Mm.
But honestly, the line between theoretical physics and, well, actual possibility, it's getting blurrier.
Okay, so let's get into this. For this deep dive, our mission is to unpack the real science behind the idea of time machines. We'll try to unravel some of those mind bending paradoxes and look at the actual experiments happening now that are pushing the limits of how we even understand time itself.
Right. And the foundation for almost all of this is Einstein's theory of relativity. It's not just complex math on a blackboard. It predicts real things, like time dilation. We've actually measured it. Astronauts, they age just a tiny fraction slower than us here on Earth.
Because they're moving so fast.
Exactly. Their speed through space literally slows down their passage through time, relative to us on the ground. So that's genuine time travel into the future. Okay, only by microseconds, but still.
Whoa! So time isn't this fixed, universal clock just ticking away everywhere at the same rate? That's hard to wrap my head around. Are we talking about time actually slowing or just how we perceive it?
No, it's not just perception. It's actual measurable time flowing differently depending on speed and gravity
Yeah.
relative to an observer. Einstein basically showed us that time isn't some rigid river. It's more like a fluid. It can be stretched, compressed. And his theory also suggests that really extreme gravity, thing near black holes, could warp space-time so much,
Hmm.
maybe creating natural portals
Yeah.
or theoretical wormholes.
Wormholes, like cosmic shortcuts.
Yeah, potentially. Imagine slipping through one and popping out somewhere else, or someone else. You remember the movie Interstellar? That showed time dilation brilliantly near the black hole. The astronauts lost years for every hour they spent down there, near that singularity, that point where gravity just crushes everything, including time itself.
Okay, so that's the huge cosmic scale. But you mentioned experiments. Are scientists actually doing things, like here on Earth, that touch on this?
They are, yeah. Obviously, we can't build a black hole in a lab, but scientists are exploring things like time crystals. These are strange structures. Instead of atoms repeating in space, like a normal crystal, their atoms repeat in time. They sort of oscillate perpetually without losing energy.
Repeat in time. What does that even mean?
It means they exhibit a kind of periodic motion that fundamentally challenges our ideas about how things should settle down over time. It hints time might have properties we don't fully grasp. And then you have quantum entanglement. You link two particles, and they instantly affect each other, no matter how far apart they are.
Faster than light.
Seemingly, yeah.
Hmm.
Which again plays with our standard notions of time and space. Now, neither of these is a time machine like in the movies, but they suggest time might not be this simple linear arrow we experience.
Mm.
Maybe it's more like a fabric we could potentially manipulate. Or maybe time is tied to how information itself works at the quantum level.
Okay, all this talk of messing with time inevitably leads to those paradoxes, right? The classic one everyone knows is the grandfather paradox.
Mm-hmm.
You go back, you accidentally prevent your grandparents from meeting, so you're never born. But then how did you go back in the first place? It just makes my brain hurt. What's the main scientific thinking on that? Is it just impossible?
Well, it's definitely a logical knot. Some theories try to resolve it. You have ideas like the block universe, where all time exists simultaneously past, present, future, so you can't change the past because it already is. Or the many worlds interpretation, which suggests that if you go back and change something, you just split off to a new parallel timeline. You wouldn't erase your own past, you'd create an alternate one.
Ah, okay, so you don't erase yourself, you just create a different you somewhere else.
Sort of, yeah. And then there's the bootstrap paradox. This one's really intriguing. Imagine you find a complete score of Beethoven symphonies. You take it back in time, give it to young Beethoven before you wrote them. He copies it, publishes it, it becomes famous. So where did the music originally come from?
Right. It seems to have no origin point. It just exists in this loop coming from the future it helped create.
Exactly, a causal loop where information seems to appear out of nowhere. It
Yeah.
makes you wonder, could information sometimes work like that? Are we maybe in some ways already in a kind of loop?
Mm.
Or even a simulation?
Whoa, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But it definitely shows why pop culture loves these ideas. You mentioned Interstellar, but you also see it in films like Tenet with its really wild idea of inverted entropy, things moving backward through time visually,
Mhm.
bullets flying back into guns, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Tenet gave a unique visual twist to reverse causality. Very clever, if mind-bending.
Or even Back to the Future, which is maybe simpler, but it really drilled home the idea of cause and effect, how one small change can ripple outwards.
Absolutely. What those films often get right is the sheer drama and the potential impact of altering time. What they usually gloss over for the story are the immense practical challenges, the paradoxes we just discussed, and of course the unbelievable energy requirements that physics suggests would be needed. But they make these complex ideas accessible.
So this brings it back to you listening right now.
Hmm?
If you genuinely had the chance, the machine was there, would you go forward or backward? The ethical questions are huge, aren't they? Is it ever right to try and fix the past, even if you risk unleashing completely unforeseen consequences on the future? Maybe awful ones?
It's a profound question about responsibility, about unintended consequences, and maybe it leads to an even deeper thought to ponder after this deep dive. If time itself isn't what we think it is, if maybe it is just an illusion or a dimension we can't fully perceive, well, what does that ultimately mean for control? For destiny? Who or what is really pulling the strings?